Thanks for joining us in our comic book coffee break. I'm Nick Gunning.
I'm Eric Mickles, and I
That's
keep
right.
accidentally closing the tabs with the comics
Stop
that I've
doing
read,
that.
and now
Stop
I don't know which ones I
doing
Fine,
that.
I'm just going to close all the tags and then reopen them.
That's a good idea.
Only way to do it. Scorch the earth and rebuild.
That's a good approach. Yeah. This is part 2 of our Giant Size Annual number 5, and we're going to be moving on to DC Comics. So last time you were talking about Injustice, and I read one called Superman John Kent by Tom Taylor. And this was good.
Okay.
I liked it, but it was very contingent on you knowing not just the Injustice games and probably the comics, but also the Earth 2 storyline from like 15 years ago.
He took over the Injustice series.
Mm.
I get why Tom Taylor would do that. Which one is the Earth 2? Oh, I remember. You read this thing. It was...
I did read it. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
It was. There's a whole thing where Lois Lane gets put into a red tornado body, and she just shows up with no explanation.
Sure.
And it's like, if you don't know,
to do.
Yeah, if you don't know, it's like crazy. I read The Injustice Gods Among Us Year Zero, and that was by Tom Taylor. I read that in 2024, but like I had played the games, and my brother-in-law John is a huge fan of these Injustice things, so I had read that as well. And so I was like, wow, how many people out there have read Earth 2 and the Injustice games to know? So it was good, but it was very, you needed to know that those facts. I don't think so.
Yeah, I wonder what it was about that Earth 2 that he was like, oh, I've got a story to tell.
Yeah, I don't know, but I did go the distance on that collection, and I did enjoy it. I mean, it was pretty fun. You know what? No, he did. He did write some Earth 2. Yeah.
Okay.
He wrote Volume 4, The Dark Age and stuff, but those are old. Those are like over 10 years old.
Yeah.
So that was weird. I was saying last time that I was excited to start reading Superman again, and I did, and I really liked Superman Super Cop. Or maybe Super Core, I can't remember. But it's where Luthor has like a whole Superman team and they're kind of forced to work together. And the first volume was really good. And after
Is this pre-Summer of Superman?
Yes, pre. This was pre. But the team is just so huge. It's just like every character to ever wear an S shows up and it just doesn't make any sense. You know, like you just can't tell a story with that many people with that level of power. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, eventually you're going to be like, what do we do? It's like, well, just throw it into the sun. One of us can throw the problem into the sun.
Right.
20 of us can then move the moon for some reason.
Yeah.
Let's just move the moon.
That's what it feels like. And it's
You're
like
telling me you don't think the moon would have any effect on this problem. If we were to move the moon, something would change.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to be more into
Moon Superman, that's always your answer.
I mean, I would be up for it at this point. I mean, just give it a try. Just give me a story.
Superman of Moon 2.
Yeah.
You know, so, if there's kind of multiple Earths out there, there's multiple moons.
Yeah, it's true.
I want to see the Crisis of Infinite Moons.
A moon for every super powered super character. I read one called Stargirl: The Lost Children by Jeff Johns. You know how Jeff Johns loves Stargirl so much. And he's always trying to...
Have you read his original Stargirl stuff?
Oh my gosh, it's unbearable. It's so bad.
It's so weird because it is so loved.
Yeah. I don't understand.
And I read it and it must be like you just had to be there in 1999. You must have had to be just super excited to see Stargirl getting any attention because that series was rough.
The art's awful. The story is not interesting. Yeah, I don't get it. But this I liked. This was a thing. It's called Stargirl: The Lost Children. And yeah, it was about, there's some like weird ripple in time, and she unearthed this fact that like all the Golden Age superheroes had sidekicks, that something happened and erased them from existence and everything. So she's going through trying to like rediscover like all of these, and then she sort of brings them to the present, and the two timelines kind of merge. And I'm not super interested in like, yeah, let's follow this forever. But as a standalone, it was cool and interesting, which I haven't typically found in Stargirl stuff.
While you're mentioning Jeff Johns, last year I read Flash from Wally taking over the mantle and read all the way through the Mark Waid stuff. at the
Right,
beginning
yeah.
of 2025, I also kept going and reread Jeff Johns' Flash stuff. And all that is to say that Jeff Johns' Flash is still great.
Nice.
So that's it.
Glad to hear that it held up.
It still stands up. Like while reading it, even though I remembered a lot of the stuff that was happening, I was like,
Yeah.
this stuff is great. It's just really fun stuff. So
Yeah.
if you haven't read either Mark Waid's or Jeff Johns' Flash, even though everybody tells you that they're great, I would say don't be afraid that they're older, from the 90s.
Yeah. Don't be afraid.
But if I did have to suggest one to somebody new, it will still probably be Jeff Johns, because Johns feels easier to get into, whereas Mark Waid's, there's just a lot more. It doesn't feel like you have to do your homework, but you always kind of feel like you should have done your homework.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do think Jeff Johns is more approachable in that way.
So, okay, that's all I wanted to mention.
Okay. I read a cool Wonder Woman standalone called Wonder Woman Evolution. It's by Stephanie Phillips, and it is sort of...
Oh, yeah, when she's in high school with all the other Wonder Womans.
No, not that one. Not that one.
Yeah, Kids
You're
WB.
thinking of X-Men. X-Men Evolution is very different.
What are you, Donna Troy? Gag me with a spoon.
I mean, I'd watch it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I wouldn't watch that. But no, this was it reminded me of like a Star Trek Next Gen Q episode, because this is Wonder Woman getting pulled into this. Yeah, Wonder Woman gets pulled into this, basically like a trial where she has to sort of like prove, I don't know, that she's worthy, that Earth is worthy. So Wonder Woman keeps getting tossed into these different eras. And so it doesn't really, like, it's certainly not required reading. I don't think it was particularly well liked, but I liked seeing the different eras, and I liked that it was just sort of like a Wonder Woman solo thing, because so much of her stuff is like, her and Steve Trevor is so uninteresting, and there's all this like beef with the Amazons. Which,
poor Steve Trevor.
I did enjoy the redux of Amazon's Attack, which I just read recently, and that was pretty fun, with Nubia and Mary Marvel and all that stuff.
Right.
It was,
Does she go back to the era where she doesn't have powers and she's just Dinah Prince?
I don't think that they did touch on that, but I don't have that on my list, but I did reread that whole series because you got me the omnibus, and it's still fun.
Right, I found it at Ollie's, and if you go on Omnibus Collectors on Reddit, people are constantly finding these like treasure troves at their Ollie's. I go to mine, and it's just like 100 volumes of Volume 1 of the Harley Quinn series that came out of No Man's Land.
Yeah,
and I was at one Ollie's and they had like 2 copies or 1 copy of that Denny O'Neil.
Good stuff. It's good
Wonder
stuff.
Woman.
Yeah. Yep.
And you were a little hesitant. You're like, I don't know. I'm like, come on.
Well, it's because I had the paperbacks.
Yeah.
So, but no, the omnibus was definitely worth it.
Yeah. Well, and did you like it when you reread it?
I did, yeah. And it pulled in things like one-offs from like Supergirl or Action Comics or whatever that I actually hadn't read before that weren't collected. So it's a very complete version of that.
Nice.
And again, I get at the time when they were like, let's depower the only powerful female character.
Yeah.
But knowing that it was a temporary thing, I feel like, makes it fun in retrospect to read. But anyway, then I read a prose novel called Black Canary Breaking Silence by Alexander Monier, and it was cool. It was really good. It was part of that DC Icons series, and I had bought it for my wife a few years back, and I was just in the mood to read something like that, so I read it, and I thought it was like really cool. And also, it's older, but it really felt like it was written for this moment in time, and so it was a little... In some ways, I was kind of like, yeesh, but no, it's good. I would recommend it.
I was going to tell you, I have not read Batman Revolution by John Jackson Miller, the sequel to Batman Resurrection.
Sure, yeah.
That original novel.
89,
that was,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, did not read that one yet. I probably will, even though that first one was not great.
Right.
So
that's what I hear.
Anywho.
I want to talk to you about the DC Absolutes. Which of the Absolute DC stuff have you read?
So I don't have any. I didn't have any comic subscriptions. I tried Global Comics this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which helped me read a lot of the creator-owned stuff I wanted to read.
Yep.
I've been using a lot of Hoopla to read stuff as well, but I only get 6 checkouts a month on that.
Right.
2025 DC has been killing it
Okay.
with like word of mouth and
Yeah.
hype and everything, and I have been feeling a lot of FOMO. So I got a year of DC Infinite,
Look at
the
you.
like deluxe one, where I get,
Oh,
and I
okay.
just did this like 2 days ago, so now I can read them. It's the 30 days after they come out.
Yeah.
Because I have been having, especially with some of the absolute stuff, but
Right.
there's just been so much like hype around so much of what DC's been doing. Basically, they're all in stuff.
Yeah.
So I just really wanted to read it. So I've now read the first, like trade wise, the first volumes of all the absolute titles.
Oh, okay. All right.
The 6 of them.
I haven't. I was kind of late to these, but you're right. I mean, I was hearing these from everywhere, and even from people like Allie, who's my co-host over on But Have You Tried, is not a huge comic book reader, but she was really intrigued by the Absolute stuff, and I know she picked up Absolute Wonder Woman. So I think it's penetrating like outside of just comic book fans too.
Absolute Batman has been doing like a crazy thing in comics and modern comics lately, where the sales have been going up.
Wow.
And
yeah, that's rare
for each issue. And the same thing with Matt Faction's current run on Batman.
Mm-hmm.
They're having to reprint the first issues, but also like future issues, the sales are going up. And it's not really a thing that has happened in comics in a while. Usually you get the first issue sales sell out, and then they drop and eventually find like a steady readership.
Yeah.
But word of mouth on so much of this stuff has been interesting. I wanted to mention about the absolutes as well and what DC's been doing, because I think it might have been like 2 years ago. Mark Miller had said comic books needed, and he says a lot of crazy things. And he was saying this because he was feeling creator-owned sales were not doing well, which people disproved, because he was like, what was the last big hit? Saga? And somebody shared like the 20 best-selling comics of that year, and Saga wasn't even on it. And this was just the indie stuff. And people were like, it's not that indie or creator-owned comics aren't selling, it's just people aren't buying Mark Miller's stuff so much anymore.
Yeah.
But he had made the point that like Marvel and DC needed to pick up their sales thing, because when those two aren't doing well, all of comics don't do well.
Right.
And he was like, we need like good runs. We need a lot of runs that people are talking about. We need killer creator teams writing comics that get everybody talking. And out of all the crazy things he says, that one seems to have proven correct, just not in the way that he imagined, because it's Scott Snyder, it's Jason Aaron, it's Kelly Thompson. These aren't really like new hot names.
Right.
I mean, Jason Aaron and Scott Snyder have been doing it forever. But their stuff on Absolutes just seems to be hitting a zeitgeist. I didn't think Scott Snyder could do anymore.
I didn't either. So I have not read Batman. I read Absolute Superman by Jason Aaron, which I really did not like. Well, how did you feel about that one?
Out of the first 3, out of the original 3, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, that one was definitely the weakest. And I think a lot of it is because there's so much exposition in those 6 issues. You don't really get a handle on what's going on in this new Superman book.
It's joyless also. I mean, there's nothing grabbing me. I don't know.
I liked it in terms of like, I'm reading the Absolute books, and I thought it had some interesting ideas, but it's changing so much, and because of that, it has to explain so much that whereas like Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman, they really felt like they just got to the story right away. But Absolute Superman is also trying to change a lot of the Krypton stuff, which, I didn't
like those changes, though. I mean, I didn't really feel like they worked.
Well, I feel like the problem is you're spending 6 issues trying to change everything on Earth while also changing everything on the Krypton origin stuff.
Right,
and it's just it's too much, and like, Superman's powers seem to really come from his sentient nanite cape.
No thanks.
And it's just it's so much that we never really got past Superman is helping some people in a mining town, and then he's gone.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so I'm hoping the future. I didn't think you would like this at all, honestly. And honestly, I'm not sure what you would like. It's very much. I mean, the common thing is to say it's like Ultimate DC,
right?
Which I also thought we were calling those Earth One books when they did those.
Right.
Which I also thought we were calling New 52 at some point.
Yeah.
But these feel much more like they're kind of doing the ultimate Marvel goal here with their stuff.
Yeah.
But the difference is the Ultimate Marvel stuff was kind of like really trying to cut down on continuity while also keeping the core of what makes those characters classic, whereas the Absolute DC seems to really just be like, no, let's go crazy, let's change everything, which for some of the stuff it works. For Superman, it's a little bit too convoluted.
Yeah, that is how I felt.
Did you read Ultimate? Did you read Absolute Wonder Woman?
No, not yet. I want to.
Okay. I really liked Absolute Wonder Woman. I liked the art a lot. Sorry, cat. Of course, it's not the first thing that showed up here. Absolute Wonder Woman. Hayden Sherman or Mattia. The first name is Hayden Sherman. I like the art a lot. I like the origin story change they've done for Wonder Woman. And, it's Wonder Woman fighting a big monster. There's just a lot of fun visual stuff.
I currently have that checked out on Libby, so that's going to be like my next read.
Nice. Yeah. I was reading like the first few issues on the DC app, and then my subscription ran out, so I ended up reading the first Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman absolutes via Hoopla.
Okay.
Because those had also just released.
Wonder Woman. What about?
I liked Batman? Absolute Wonder Woman. I thought that was fun. Absolute Batman is also a big change in a lot of ways, but I really like it. I don't love every change in it, but unfortunately, changing his origin from his parents being shot in the alley by a robber to his dad being shot during a public shooting is, obviously that's the way it would go.
Depressing, but yeah.
It's depressing, but it's, of our time. So, that change is, it should be like, ugh, gross, but yeah, I mean, you don't think that's the way it should change? Turn on the news any day of the year.
Yep.
And you'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. We're making Batmans every day.
Yeah.
Or at least we're making poor Bruce Wayne's.
Yeah.
But it's fun. It has a lot of energy. I still kind of wish maybe we had gotten a different writer than Scott Snyder, but he's doing enough that I'm like, okay, I guess you did still have some other stuff to say.
Okay.
And, as the series goes on, people just seem to be more hyped for it. So I'm excited to see where the other stuff goes. Also, the artist for Absolute Batman, Nick Dragotta, is really, really good. And, what was his name? Greg Capello?
Yeah.
Nick Dragotta isn't too far from that, but has kind of like chunkier designs.
Gotcha.
And this Bruce Wayne is a what's the swole? Is that the right thing?
Okay.
He's a lot bigger than our standard Bruce Wayne.
Gotcha.
And
okay, that's funny.
A lot of people have joked. I haven't read them yet, but Bane shows up in future issues, and everybody's like, "How do you do Bane if Bruce Wayne is already this big?" And it's like, just make Bane even bigger.
Bigger.
So
make it bigger. Okay.
It kind of seems like it's not really saying it has like anime sensibilities isn't correct, but it does kind of have a like, no, we can, everybody can go Super Saiyan at some point.
Yeah.
So
Absolute Green Lantern definitely has anime vibes though. Have you read that one?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's in
Absolute
the extreme.
Green Lantern, Al Ewing and Janoy Lindsay, Lucas Gattoni. The art for sure, anime vibes, and then the way the powers are working right now. Yeah. Absolute Green Lantern and Absolute Flash are probably the weakest. And I think Green Lanterns, I mean, maybe you liked Green Lantern more than I did. Absolute Green Lantern.
No, I didn't. I didn't really like it.
Oh, okay.
I liked Flash quite a bit, though.
Absolute Green Lantern suffered from the same thing of the Superman one, where they're changing so much and doing such a different concept that it spends 5 or 6 issues really having to like play up a mystery and introduce things that you don't really fully get what the series is going to be about, even at the end of issue 6.
I feel like you look at all the classic superhero origins, and it's not like 12 characters were involved in this. It's like one character, and you kind of. But all of these ones, there's just so many different pieces in play that it's kind of hard to have that as an origin story. That being said, I do feel like the Flash worked. Like for me, the Flash, I only read 3. You know, I only read 3 absolutes: Superman, Green Lantern, Flash, and I thought Flash was the strongest of the 3 for me.
Absolute Flash, I had fun with more than some people had said, but also because I read this one last, I was like, oh, another mystery one. I liked the Rogues in it.
Yeah, I like the Rogues too.
And for the most part, I like the art. For some reason, it does a Y the Last Man riff on one of the covers. On like issue 3 or whatever. I like the twist about Grodd. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I want to see where all these are going. I feel like the way Absolute Flash and Absolute Green Lantern are like, here's everybody from the lore all at once.
Yeah.
Makes it feel like the Absolute universe isn't supposed to last for like 10 years, but
yeah,
maybe I'm wrong. I mean, Ultimate X-Men introduced everybody all at once. So, yeah, we'll see.
So I guess the only one we haven't talked about is Martian Manhunter then, right?
Oh, man. Absolute Martian Manhunter, so good.
Really? Okay.
But it is so weird, and it feels the most standalone of these absolutes. Okay. It doesn't, because the art style by Javier Rodriguez is so unique and trippy, it doesn't necessarily feel like in the Absolute verse. And apparently it was supposed to only be 6 issues, and now it's becoming 12. So it really feels more like a Black Label standalone thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they can nail the ending, Denise Camp and Javier Rodriguez, if they can nail the ending, like that's a 12 issue all timer in my mind. It's just
okay.
But so much of it is because of the art. It's just so good. And I spent so much time like on the same page, just like looking and taking in the art.
Okay.
It's not a very traditional take on the Martian Manhunter. It's very different, obviously.
Right.
But it was probably my favorite book of the Absolutes.
Okay.
But again, it also doesn't feel like it's in that universe. It's not one of those like no fortress, no family, all Superman.
Okay.
The art style isn't like Darwin Cook, but it has that kind of retro, when the art isn't going crazy, it does kind of have that Final Frontier or New Frontier vibe to it.
Yep.
So as a whole, I'm having fun with the Absolute verse, and they're part of the reason why I got that monthly one of the DC app.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to use Hoopla checkouts to read 2 of those because they just weren't out yet. So, yep. What else do you have for DC?
Oh, I finally read that Superman War World saga.
Oh, yeah.
By Philip Kennedy Johnson, and I mean, this is basically the original Superman Exile story, except longer and done in the style of Kurt Busiek's Conan comics, or it's basically that Justice League episode, except Mongol doesn't have Eric Roberts' cool voice, or it's basically Planet Hulk, except, I'm not sure there is an except here.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. It was kind of bland for me, and also...
I didn't like it either, but I did kind of think you would dig it more than I did.
I was hoping so. I think it was just the art... that whose art was it? Daniel Stamper. It just every now and then it tried to do this like painted old school art. I'm like, it's not that kind of story, guys.
Yeah.
Also, Manchester Black in this series really felt like adult Quentin Quire, and like the same hair and everything. So but oh man, did I love Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor by Mark Waid and Brian Hitch. And if you want to talk about DC killing it lately, Mark Waid is just like their weapon of choice.
Okay.
He's just, I mean, I don't know. After we lost Peter David, it kind of feels like Mark Waid is like the last of this kind of storyteller who just, knows his stuff and can do this work in his sleep. But it's 3 issues. The art is by Brian Hitch, who, did the Ultimates with Mark Miller and worked on The Authority. He's got that big widescreen style that was really big in the early 2000s. So now it's kind of nostalgic for me.
Right, yeah.
But it's 3 issues of Lex Luthor having to team up with Superman because Lex Luthor is dying. And it also is, I didn't realize it, but it's kind of a stealthy sequel to Birthright.
Oh,
because
okay.
Mark Waid did Birthright, and as you pointed out to me too, like the ink wasn't even dry yet on the last issue of Birthright when they were already doing a new Superman origin retelling at the same time.
That is for sure.
Jeff Johns doing the Secret Origin, was that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, he kind of references his Birthright story more than once in the last days of Superman, but it's also just a fun 3-issue series that's the hardcover is in those magazine size things. It was a Black Label book, so kind of like they did with the Harley Quinn one. Anyway, I recently got myself a hardcover copy of it. It's going in the library. So I don't know if everybody will love it, but I liked reading it.
Yeah, it looks cool. I added it to my list.
Other DC stuff. The Poison Ivy series by G. Willow Wilson. I started
I read that.
And it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read the first volume, or have you been reading the series?
I read a couple volumes.
Okay, I've only read the first volume, so that's the first 6 issues. So I'm going to keep reading that.
I felt like that was the strongest portion.
It's weird to see a series lasting more than 12 issues in this comic book landscape.
Yeah, true.
And Poison Ivy, of all books, is doing it. So that makes me happy. Marcio Takara does good art. I sound really smart there.
Yeah,
his art's very good. Or
good art.
Yeah, but I liked it, and I'm going to keep reading that. Oh, boy. Did you read any Tom King this year?
I did, but not in DC.
Okay, well, his Human Target, I finally read the 12-issue Human Target. I don't get it. I don't get it. It becomes so, like, not cool and interesting. It's like, why are you writing this character at all then? Just put out your own thing. Yeah. And I don't want to say, like, there's character assassination going on, but because it's, non-continuity and all that, but it's just kind of like, do you hate the characters you're writing, Tom King? So I feel like I already made the joke, but like if you were at Marvel, would you be writing like a domestic abusive Namor who suffers from impotence? Right. Like that's what this stuff feels like.
Like when they gave Frank Miller Superman Year One.
Oh, I don't know how he keeps selling and people keep being like, oh, fine. Yeah. I mean, it's probably no small part that he keeps getting like murderer's row of artists working for him. But God,
you know what? I did read some DC Tom King because I read his Wonder Woman and I really didn't like it. I think I sent you some screenshots of
and that's an ongoing, right?
It is ongoing, and that's one of those ones where it's like here's 9 panels of just dialogue with nothing happening. There's a lot of that in there, so I wasn't a fan. The one that I read that was non-DC of his though is called Helen of Windhorn. And it's got a very like 1960s Shirley Jackson look to it, and it's about this girl who goes to live with her grandpa, and as things go on, you realize that grandpa is like traveling to different realms and is this like, epic warrior, and so she starts kind of going along with him, and it's a really cool just standalone series. It came out in 2025, and I really enjoyed it. So there's some good Tom King for you.
Well, I liked his Supergirl.
Yeah.
And, they're basing the new movie off of that a little bit. I mean, but if you ask me what's the best Tom King you've read that isn't that Supergirl comic, I'm like, it's hard for me. Like, I might say Vision or Mr. Miracle.
Oh, Mr. Miracle. Yeah.
But it's still sometimes like, okay, I get it. Superheroes, they're real people. But, then I think about Human Target or the Adam Strange, or God help me if I remember the Heroes in Crisis comic.
Oh, jeez. So, yeah. Awful.
One thing before I still have some Batman stuff to mention, but I did want to say the other thing that makes it feel like DC is killing it lately is from what I see online, DC is paying more for their artist. And you can tell when it comes to Marvel and DC. right now, I think, that DC is just getting these killer artists, and they're letting these artists like be expressive in a lot of different ways. You know, they're not forcing them to do the house style. I mean, I guess Dan Mora seems to be kind of the house style.
Okay.
But all their original stuff and all their other series, like New Gods, all the stuff I want to read, just seems to be like great concepts with killer artists. And Marvel apparently is very cheap when it comes to its artist pages. And I don't know if DC is necessarily that much better, but they seem to be just getting the best.
Okay. Well,
so
that's something.
And that means something like The Batman First Night by Dan Jurgens and Mike Perkins looks better than it necessarily read.
Okay.
It was interesting. It's 1939, fascism, Batman fighting racism and Nazi kind of sensibilities in a 1930s Gotham. It looks great. It didn't land as an all-timer for me. I was bummed, but again, it looks great. Same thing with Batman Full Moon by Rodney Barnes and Steven Subic. I really wanted to like this. It has Zatanna and Constantine, and they're all trying to stop a werewolf, but it just didn't totally work for me.
That's a bummer.
I finished Chip Zdarsky's Batman run, one that started well, then kind of lost me, then ended well, and then he did an extra couple of issues, like 4 issues after his main story ended, and it kind of feels like this might have been a fill-in story to save time before Jeff Loeb took over.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, I just said I don't like talking about character assassination, but the stuff he does with Jim Gordon in this, I don't know how else to describe it. And I know you like Chip Zdarsky, or you have in the past.
I have, but I read 2 volumes of this Batman and I did not enjoy it. So
my issue with both his Daredevil run and this Batman run seems to be he gets paired with a great artist who then he basically just seems to think that everybody reading his comics forgets previous comics that existed, and he just writes the same thing. Like this whole Batman run was just Grant Morrison stuff with a few, like, I don't know. It's all just very been there, done that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times not as good. And I was really let down by that. Like, I might have bought an omnibus of his run just because I liked the opening arc and the last arc. But the last arc he did, it just is like, no, I never want to read this again. I don't.
It's a bummer.
I don't want to remember this.
Right.
It was a bummer, and too bad. And I just makes me think, oh, I don't think I like Zdarsky. Also, okay, 2 last Batman things, and then I'm done with DC.
Okay.
Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen, they were the team that did Descender, which I really liked. They did a 3-issue series called Robin and Batman, sometimes also called Robin and Batman Jason Todd.
Oh, okay.
It's about the early days as Jason Todd as Robin, and it's kind of playing on the idea that Todd is the angry, more violent Robin.
Right.
And it didn't fully land for me. I like the art. I guess I just wasn't super interested in the story itself. But anyway, if you are more interested in Jason Todd than I am, you might find more from this than I did. But I also just finished Batman and Robin Year 1 by Mark Waid and Chris Samnee. This is one of those, like, all-time... Like, when I say it's all-time classic, I mean, like, when you're reading Batman Year 1... and then you read like Long Halloween and Dark Victory, you can go right into Batman and Robin Year 1, and you probably should. It's really good. It's a really good Batman story, Batman and Robin story. Mark Waid in the past says he doesn't love writing villains, but he does a great Two-Face. The art, this is more Darwin Cook than when I was comparing him to Absolute Manhunter.
Okay.
You know, very classic. I think Mark Waid writes a really good young Dick Grayson.
Mm-hmm.
Because we can't go back to Dick Grayson as Robin, but for some reason we go back to like Tim Drake as Robin.
Yeah.
You sometimes, or at least I forget just how like showy and goofy and like so much different Dick Grayson as Robin is than every other Robin that came before. So you have a Robin that is like, he's a performer, he likes laughing, he's having a good time being Robin. And it just plays so much different than future Robins and Batman. So
have you read Mark Waid's World's Finest? Because that is Batman and Dick Grayson, and you do get some of that, and it's pretty fun.
I'm going to, because I read whatever volume that was for Batman versus Robin, not knowing what was a Damian thing. And I think that's also like we've been so inundated with Damian over the past decades. 15 years.
Yeah.
And no, you're right. It's longer than that because he was before the New 52.
Yeah.
That I forgot that there was, that seems to be the only Robin we get in anything now. And I'm so tired of it. And it's just so fun to read Batman with a different Robin, even if it is the first Robin. So I loved it. It made me laugh at times.
Yeah.
So I will be getting this once it comes out with the deluxe edition and putting it right next to those other like timeless ones.
Yeah. You know what? Damian Wayne was introduced in 2006, so this literally is his 20th year. That's 2 decades.
Oh my gosh, Damian. 20 years of trying to like Damian Wayne or trying to get other people to make us like Damian Wayne.
Yep.
And some people did. Who was the Super Sons did it for
Tomasi. Yeah, Peter J. Tomasi. Yeah, and there was that solo Damian series where he had his Goliath, like the big dragon. That was a pretty cool series. It didn't last very long, but
it's just,
I enjoyed like the Lazarus Planet was kind of a fun crossover.
Right.
They had some good Damian stuff in it, but not a favorite.
Are you done with DC?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because after those big two, I've got a lot.
Okay, well then we'll bring things back to a close now and return with Comic Book Coffee Break Giant Size Annual number 5.3.
All right.
Next time. We'll see you then.